is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going. But it's good, YouTube. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We gonna talk about the Utah Jazz and their struggles, their recent streak a couple months ago, and well, not even a couple months, a couple weeks ago, where it looked like the Jazz we're figuring out they playing excellent basketball. They looking like that championship team. Was it really them? Was it really their competition just being terrible to mediocre in that span? And if he should really take this Utah Jazz team serious this season, just because the playoffs are not even 2 months away, and we're getting to the point where the Jazz, will they be a 50-win team? It looks like it. Will they be one of the best teams in the Western Conference? It looks like they're going to be top five. But are they a team that can really get out of the first round? Can they really compete for an NBA Western Conference title? Or at least get to the Western Conference, round. And it doesn't even, it's sad because we were just looking at this team and everybody, okay, this team is playing so well, they deserve two All-Stars. And you have Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell representing this team for the All-Star team. And you're looking at their defense and you're looking like Rudy Gobert, he's probably Defensive Player of the Year, if not as Giannis, if not as Brook Lopez or Anthony Davis. And I'm like, okay, I like that. But right now, Gobert, 3 weeks ago, it looks like Gobert, I would vote for Defensive Player of the Year. I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell. He's looking like one of the best closers in the league. He's taking over games. He's willing Utah to W's. They make the acquisition for Jordan Clarkson, and he looks like a perfect acquisition against the Rockets and multiple teams. He's an instant bucket like we thought he would be. And he's been able to fit in well with his Jazz team. Mike Conley hasn't been the pickup that we thought he would be, but he's starting to figure it out. But now the whole team is kind of in a daze offensively and defensively. And even though he's figuring out and starting to get his shot to fall, the whole team collectively around him isn't playing well. And then even Gobert. Gobert doesn't look like Gobert right now. And it's unfortunate because he's supposed to be the anchor, and it's supposed to be his team. And if it's not, it's Donovan Mitchell. But Donovan Mitchell hasn't had that killer, unstoppable move like he had a couple weeks ago, or even a month ago. And like I said, we going into All-Star Weekend looking at the Jazz as a legitimate team that can win it all. This is a team that we looking at, and they're obliterating teams, they're embarrassing teams, they're closing out teams, they're stealing games, and they looking like a team that has it all figured out. And then weeks later, they barely can win a game, and they're getting a blip beat. And then they're just not the same team that we think. They don't have that urgency. They don't have that fight. They don't have that championship DNA that you need to beat the great team each and every night. Because when you're in the Western Conference and you're in the playoffs, you're playing against the best teams each and every night, unless you're playing the Memphis Grizzlies or the Dallas Mavericks, who are two up-and-coming teams that's young with a lot of talent, but they have had their injury problems, like Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson, and Luka just came back, and Porzingis is coming off ACL injury, so they're not the team that they will be in the future, which, the Jazz is supposed to be the present in the future because Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, and the rest of this team is so very young. So I'm looking at this team, and I'm starting to figure out, if not why, if not when, and what is going to happen with this Jazz team, because what can they really do once they lock up Donovan Mitchell to his multiple year extension when he becomes a restricted free agent? When is this team going to have the time and the money to really make this team a legitimate contender? You make the trade for Conley now because you hope it increases your ceiling offensively and defensively, and that's what we all thought, and we thought it was a genius move. You make the move for Bogdanovich, you make the trade for Clarkson to get rid of Dante Exum, who hasn't really played that well and hasn't been able to stay healthy and become a factor, and you trade him for a guy that has been able to adjust to his role and has fit in perfectly, in my personal opinion, for what he is. And now I'm looking at this Utah team and starting to think of them. When can this team be a legitimate championship contender. Can they get to that point? Can they ever figure it out? Because once they pay Gobert or Joe Ingles, Conley, who's already under a contract, they don't really have the money outside of Donovan Mitchell once he get paid to really be able to build a legitimate contender in Utah, because no big name free agent wants to go to Utah outside if they're getting traded. And right now, they don't have that type of money and that type of availability, especially once they pay Mitchell, to really become a team that can get over that hump, unless something crazy happens that we don't see coming, to really push themselves up higher than where they are right now, because we thought that all the moves that they made in the summer and now that they will be able to capitalize on that ability of Donovan Mitchell being on his rookie contract and trying to go all in with the type of talent and coach that they have with Quinn Snyder and try to win it this year. And they have looked like a mediocre team at best throughout this season. Majority of the season, they have looked okay to good, which is mediocre. They haven't looked great. They haven't looked dominant unless they go against worse competition. They look excellent. They look like a great team. But eventually, Utah is going to have to challenge themselves. They're going to have to ask themselves, how much do they want it? What can they do to improve? What do they need to do to improve? Because they have under 25 games right now to figure it out. This is the team that they have. This is the team that they are. I don't really see no big roster moves that can be made now and in the future that can really change this team to the point that puts them over a team like the Lakers or the Clippers or the Bucks, or put them at the same level. Like I said, the best move that they could really make was flipping Exxon for Clarkson, which to me was a fair swap for where the teams are at their current position. And it made sense, and it has made sense so far. But other than that, Utah really don't have no avenue and no way to really turn this team into a legitimate contender. And now I'm looking at this team and I'm looking like it made sense. I understand why they made the moves. When you seen how they played a couple weeks ago, it looked like they was figuring it out. And then they go against great to good competition, and then they just look like another team in the NBA, which is unacceptable because they play in the West. And I'm looking like this doesn't make any sense. The Utah just not good enough. And the fact to the matter is, if you're a Utah fan, how do you get to the point where you're a legitimate contender? And that's going to be the problem after they pay Donovan Mitchell. We seen the same thing with Gordon Hayward. You only can get so good, so great in Utah, and you have such a small window to be great because of injuries, because of other teams that you have to beat and compete against to get to that point where you can get to the final, especially in the Western Conference, and where you can have a legitimate chance and a legitimate window to win it all. And we seen that they had that against the Bulls. They got to the finals twice and they just couldn't capitalize, and they haven't been back since. That's how hard it is to win a title in Utah. They've been a okay to great franchise for given what they have and given where they at. They have done an exceptional job with Darren Williams and with Karl Malone and before that. But you still have to eventually learn from your mistake, which it seemed like they was trying to do, and they went all in and put their chips on the table, and it just wasn't enough currently how the Jazz look. But I feel like it's the players. I don't feel like it's the organization. I personally don't feel like it's Quinn Snyder. I just feel like the players aren't gelling. I feel like the players aren't playing to their full capabilities on offense and on defense. And if you're not going to go out there and compete, you're not going to go out there and push yourself to the level and challenge yourself to get to other levels that you need to reach to get to the goal that you want, which is winning the championship team, as a collective. You have to really question the personnel that you have on this roster, and you have to look at this team and say, what can we do and what do we need to really get better, since this isn't enough. If they don't even get out of the first round this year, this season is a complete catastrophic disappointment. There's no way you can make all these moves and make all these trades and make all these, decisions to get to this point, and you may be a first round exit with a two-time defensive player of the year, two all-stars on your roster, and a team that's going to win 50 games for the last couple of seasons, even without Gordon Hayward. And we thought it was going to be over then. They get a great steal in Donovan Mitchell, and he helps sustain this team in their window, and then they try to go all in on that, and now they just look like a team that's going to be out in the first round. and that's not acceptable. That's not the standard they set this year. That's not their mentality going into this season. And now this is the reality of this season. So let me know what you guys think about the Utah Jazz. Do you think they pretenders? Do you think this is the most disappointing team in the league? A team that we felt with all these moves in the offseason and the Jordan Clarkson and the trade deadline trades that they made, that they can be a legitimate team that can contend with the Clippers and the Lakers and the Rockets and teams like in the Nuggets in the Western Conference? Do you think that they still can figure it out? Do you think that they are what they are and they have to maximize what they have? And if they can't get out of the second round, then that's their ceiling? Or do you think that this team is just a first round one and done exit, which is a huge disappointment to everybody that's not even a Utah fan, because we thought better of this team coming into this season? Just to be honest, I even thought that this would be a top 4 seed in the West and they would be a legitimate contender in the West because of the moves that they made. And I'm flabbergasted and disappointed at this season that they're having right now and how they're playing on both sides of the court right now. It's just very disrespectful. It's just not enough heart, and it just don't have that one guy to just call everybody out, put everybody on blast, put everybody out, and then say, what are you guys going to do? Snyder's not doing it. The organization not doing it. The players not doing it. They need somebody to wake these guys up and say, what are we going to do to get to the level that we need to get at to go out there and compete for a title? Who's going to hold these guys accountable? Who's going to get on these guys' ass and really say, what are we made of? What are we about? And what are we going to hold ourselves to as the standard as a Utah Jazz or team with 2 All-Stars, Defensive Player of the Year, and a team that has great veterans and a great coach? What are we going to do as a team? What are we going to do as men? What are we going to do as basketball players with pride? That's what I want to be seen. That's what I want to see questioned, and that's what I want to see them figure out before the season is over and before they get put out in the first or second round in the playoffs. Because this team had higher expectations. They look better than what they ever looked in the last couple years. And it looked like the organization and everybody was believing that this team was going to be a contender in the West. And that's just not what it is right now at this point of the season. But even comparing to their whole entire season, they have been a disappointment. Let me know in the comment section below, is this the most disappointing team in the league this season? And if you disagree or agree or you have a different opinion, let me know in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, I make NBA videos every single day, whether it's about the draft, summer league, free agency, or all year round. I got you covered. Plus, I do NBA breakdowns. If you're new to the channel, check out my older videos. If you like this video, you like videos every day about the NBA, subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, like. If you haven't liked, like on Facebook, like the video. Thanks for the love and support if you did already. And check out my Spreadshirt. There you can buy merchandise. You can also buy merchandise on my Facebook page. You can message me. You can pick your color or your shirt, pick your logo, and I can get it shipped out to you. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the subscribing. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm gone.